What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag. September 26th. Sorry, we had a bit of a tech issue, so we're starting 5 minutes late, so we got to move quickly. We got Babano joining us in 19 minutes. 25 minutes after that, we have Teddy Covers. I needed an extra 5 minutes with Babano because we got Thursday night NFL, Thursday night college football, giant college football card, and of course, afternoon baseball, 11 games on the slate. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Gio Mercedes in the house. Great hustle. First in the chat, Gio Mercedes. Got Vinny Cornell. Got Matt Randall. Said the mornings always are better after hitting the taint the night before. Great job, Matt Randall, cashing the taint. Twinkies, Tigers, under 9.5. Too easy. Matt Randall, great work. I wish I was on. Top set in the house that smells like cash in here. We got KB. We got Yenny Toon. Says, I'm liking the Packers under 46.5. Matt Randall, look at the balls on our Matt Randall. Underdogs are 3-0 straight up on Thursday Night Football. With that said, this is all from Matt Randall. Quote, unquote, taint play of the day, Eagles, plus 4.5. I also have a play on the Eagles, money line, plus 180. Matt Randall, not going by the Donnie Rightside rule of home team or no team on Thursday Night Football. Wow. Matt Randall. We got KB in the house. Nicholas Fogg. Jordan Elmquist says, feeling the over. You know, Jordan, I almost made a move on the over, and then I'm like, man, these Thursday nights are killing me. Just take a break. Take a breather and stop losing money on Thursday nights. I own a Maha in the house, ready to go. Mally Mal, Dog Bry, what it is. JF, Ty Clinton. Mackenzie Rivers saying, Packers 5-0 straight up, 4-1 against the spread at home on Thursday Night Football, plus 10.5 against the spread margin. Wow. With Rodgers 4-0 straight up against 13. Wow, Mackenzie Rivers. I'm guessing you're back in the pack with those stats. Carlos Peroge in the house. KB says your boy Beatty back at it today. Beatty's going to get touched, I think. Design engineer Greco in the house. Pack first half -3, pack -4.5, and he calls it a layup. That's how confident our guy, the design engineer, is. Shadow in the house says, cheers, I'll hit 2 14 parlays and a 5-team. Are very pleased today. Great job. Great job. Vaughn Burgess in the house. Vegas Vic. Jermel Wright ready to go. Jermel Wright. Thank you, Jermel Wright, saying enjoyed the Pick Six show last night. Jermel Wright, love rolling with you, my man. Great capper. There's Scott Feinstein in the house. Scott Feinstein says, Matt Randall, how many years do the Eagles get to be called champs? I am suffering from lack of sleep right now, so if I mess up some reading, you know why. You know why. I'm a mess, man. I'm a mess. Atlas Party says home team killing Thursday nights. Dennis Garcia, Eagles just need to tread water first 2 months. After their bye, they have New England at home and a bunch of cupcakes. Yeah, but let's hope that the Cowboys aren't too far ahead. Too far ahead. Jin Rummy says, did anyone play White Sox money line? Please, at least one guy. Vegas Vic, Damon Santori. Hey, I did hit the over. That was one of my few wins last night. You know you're capping baseball poorly when I didn't realize that Brewers-Reds game was starting at 6:40 Eastern. So I was already on the Brewers -1. I was going to add the Brewers under 8.5, and just because the game started early, I didn't make the bet. Made it here, but didn't make the bet. So saved $125. That's how bad things. There's Joe Anise. He says, Tigers money line today. That makes sense. Brian Beasley in the house, representing Compton. We got Compton in the house. It's Green Bay Rolls mirror game from Monday Night Football. Mackenzie Rivers says, yes, definitely on the pack attack. Rosie, nice. Great to see you, Rosie. Wonderful seeing you. Thank you for joining us, Rosie. Rolling. We got Anna Merrick. Anna Merrick will be on our late show. Also, Flash will be live on our late show. Flash has been eating in NFL football. KB says, Jimmy, play that first quarter under. That's an interesting look, hey. Ray Williams, also Eagles will cover tonight. Man. Oh, I forgot. Anna Merrick needs to move to Friday. That's my fault. My fault. I forgot about that. Okay, I will hook that up. Okay, so let's get ready to go. Kyle Jacken now says Packers all day today. Eagles fall. Danny King says cashed on Brewers easy last night. Yeah, that was nice. I should have just stuck. Oh, look at Eddie Euler, 6 for 6 baseball parlay last night. Mally Mouse says, how about that Yankees under? That was too easy. Damon, my guy Damon, thank you for joining us. Damon, we got Nasty Nate in the house. Paco Ely, Adrian Holmes ready to go. Pram Betsky, Red Girl. What a great group. Okay, Buzzo TV, Eric Nisbet. Errol Spence Jr. over Sean Porter this Saturday night in boxing. Errol is a beast. That's from our guy, Eric Nisbet. I wouldn't mind sitting back watching a little boxing on Saturday. It sounds nice. AM, we got Tyrone Coleman ready to get paid. Okay, great group. Let's get to work. We've got a lot of work to do. Alex Ramirez, Pirates plus 1.5 came in. Reds, Mets run line came in. Great work. Guru Sports Bet. Oh, okay, sorry. I got to see what, okay, let me see what you guys are talking about there. Guru's already placed a bet that Matt Randall's on. Mr. Rizzo says, what's good? Waiting for Green Bay line to go up. Going to play Philly tonight. Wow. There's DJ Big Boss. There's Dab Fenn. Matt Randall leaning under in Reds Brewers. Okay, nice. Dutch Boy Fresh says, my guys start a very profitable weekend. Let's go. Yes, I'm looking forward to the pressure of MLB regular season being over. And I'm very excited about NHL coming back and then NBA following right after. That's the time of year where we do our best work here. Ian Jackson ready to go. Anthony Chalmers. Okay, so we have 14 minutes before we're joined by Babano. Let's go. We got 11 MLB games and a lot of work to do. Opening lineups and market moves. Let's start with this Brewers Reds, where we've already had a look towards the under from Matt Randall and Guru Sports Bets. Opened at 8 to minus 114, so there's been a 7-cent move to the over. 8's a low number. Castillo and the Reds opened at minus 143. There's been a 25-cent move towards these Brewers. Man. All right. 75 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour to center. Let's see who the Brewers are trotting out there. Grisham, Grandal, Hira, Thames, Spangenberg, Shaw, Arcia, Gamble. There's a big name missing from that. Ryan Braun, who's been playing very, very well, missing from the lineup. Now we go over to the Reds. And their big bats out of the lineup. 49 home runs out of the lineup with the Reds. You got Peraza, Votto, Aquino, Van Meter, Irvin Iglesias, Farmer, Casali. Not a good. They're be smooth in those. Dom Reed says Mets are out regardless. Brewers locked in wild card, but still laying for the division. I'm on the Brewers plus 109. Ralph Poano also on the under 8. Also on the under 8. Top set. So funny. He says, stay away from MLB today. I wasted 2 hours capping. Smells like trouble. Smells like trouble. All right. Brewers, Red, 75 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour to right center. Chase Anderson, 7-4, 4.30 ERA. Luis Castillo, 5.15, 7.3.25 ERA, 1.13 whip. Brewers rating 246, 766 OPS first righties. Take Suarez out of that lineup. See how they're hitting against righties. Oh, sorry, that's Braun. So Braun doesn't really... That's fine. That doesn't affect... It's the Reds. 241, 736 OPS versus righties. Take Suarez out of that line. Brewers have won 6 straight, 7 of their past 19. Game and a half behind the Cardinals. Anderson scattered 3 hits, 6 scoreless, 10-1 win over Pittsburgh on Friday. His ERA dropping fast. This month, his ERA is 2.50. Limited opposition to 185 average during the month. 5-3 with a 3.75 ERA, 14 career starts against the Reds. Castillo, 3-3, 3.42 ERA, 8 career meetings with Milwaukee. He did not look good in that last start. 2 home runs, 3 hits, 7 innings, 8-1 loss to the Mets. And Guru says, I show no Kane in the lineup for the Brewers either. I don't want to make a move on this. This just seems a little tricky, and that's a low number for 8. There's Big Ragu in the house. Antoine Seymour says only 1 college game tonight. No. There are more college games than that. So, you know, for the big boys, there's 1 game. But there is also Delaware State, North Carolina A&T. And who's not going to hammer this Delaware State, North Carolina A&T? North Carolina A&T, 27.5-point favorites, total of 44.5. Be crazy not to add in that. Are we the gens or what? All right, look, I'm sort of with our guy Elio. It's a low total. Castillo's not playing well. I don't want to make a move here. Matt Randall says, I can't wait for NHL and for your place. There's no one I trust more than you in NHL. Thank you, Matt Randall. I'm very excited to work with you guys again. It's a pleasure, and especially when I struggle in MLB to come back and put money in your pockets in NHL makes me very happy. All right, Stephen Chamberlain, Eagles lose by at least a TD or win the game. Don't see a cover. Wow. Ramon Scott says, go Aggies. All right, look, I'm not making a move on Brewers Reds. Sure, I could see an under, but that's so low. Castillo's not throwing that well. Brad Hansen says Brewers are Reds. You want to back this Brew Crew team without two big bats in the line? If you want to back the Reds team without a big bat in the line, if you want to take an under, that's down to 8. All right, let's go to Twins Tigers. I guess, do we know who's pitching now for the Twins? Yeah, Smeltzer's in. And we have spreads in total. So let's just take a quick look. So it's going to be a day of openers for the Twinkies. They opened up at minus 145. They're now minus 143. This total opened up at 9.5 and it's now at 9. Look at Buzzo TV. Eagles money line. Guillermo says, let's talk Breeders' Cup preps. Man, I'm excited about the Breeders' Cup. Man, I'm excited. Guru says, you know the Reds not going to hit 8 of 9 previous or 3 runs or less, and the 9th game was 4. Brian Beasley, Milwaukee under first 5. I don't know, man. Jay Money says, can't wait for NBA. I'm quitting my day job. Let's eat. I love that, Jay. I love that, man. I love that. We need more Jay Money on this show. Zimmerman's been awful. So even with the lineup of the Twins, Ian Miller, Arraez, Estudillo, Cave, Scope, Castro, Lemaire, Wade, Torres, I can't back them. Come on, man. It would be Tigers or nothing, but Zimmerman's allowed 19 runs, 26 hits, his last 13 and 2/3. How could you back him? Oh, nice. Jay Money putting in his 2-week notice. Attaboy, Jay. Oh, man. Jay spending 24/7 on NBA. We're all going to be eating. I love that, Jay. I love that, man. That's exciting. We need more Jay Money. All right, look, I'm not making a move on that game. I guess I can understand the Tigers being the only play. Let's see what you get on the tie. But can you back Zimmerman here? God, I can't. Eddie Euler leaning Twins minus 1.5. Why don't we take a look at what our Gin Rummy spreadsheet is saying about this spot? Let's go over to Gin Rummy. That would be a nice place to be with Gin Rummy right now. Let's go and see what he is talking about. Sports stats, odds maker. See what if he's making a move on any of these right now. Let's take a look. What a guy, Gin, sharing all of his hard work with everybody, with the world. And let's see what we're doing with Gin's worksheet going down. All right, let's get to late September. Here we go. Is there value? Does he see value? Oh, come on. All right, there we go. Does he see value? Yes, he... Oh, no, that was yesterday. Cardinals, Diamondbacks, he saw value and he cashed there. All right. It's tricky. Dutch Boy Fresh says heavy public dogs over 80% on Dolphins, Bucks, and Bengals. Look, I'm on the Bucks. All right, let's just keep rolling. I'm not making a move there. Twins, Tigers, not making a move. Red Sox, Rangers. Do we know who's starting? Because some outlets say Brian Johnson. Some say Latkins. Do we know who's starting? Let's go to Sportsbook Review. Who do they say starting? They say Latkins is starting. Total opened up at 11.5. It's now at 11. God, these are ugly games. Common Cricky says Alshon Jeffrey back in the lineup, I believe. We need to know. Eddie always says off Twins after clinching Central. DMX 93 in the house. Allison says can't back Eagles with the injuries. I agree with that. We're going to have Babano here in 6 minutes. We're going to have a lot of talk about that Monday nighter. That Thursday nighter. Jesus. Mike Miners looked awful lately. Awful. He's looked bad. But you trust the Red Sox to sweep? They've been good on the road all year. Being a market move towards the Rangers, which makes sense, but he's been so bad. Let's see what we're dealing with lineup-wise. And we don't know yet. This game pops off at 2:05 Eastern. Let me refresh and see if we can get a lineup. And we can for the Red Sox. Hernandez, Benintendi, Martinez, Travis, Holt. And then, And then, so 2, we got, then Hernandez in right field. So we have the Hernandez, second base, right field combination. Bradley Jr., Sandy Leon, and Chris Owings. Oh, that's an ugly lineup. Man, they have to be mailing this in. Oh, that's an ugly lineup. How do we not take the Rangers here? I mean, the Red Sox just don't care. They're saving their guys for that final home series. How do we not take the Rangers here? Oh, we have to. All right. I'm coming in. I'm taking the Rangers. Full game. Money lines. Rangers. I know Miners being terrible, but come on. Getting a minus 112 at Pinnacle. Rangers, full game. First play on my card, minus 112. Book it. Guru Sportsbet says only fave worth a look are the A's, and the bats are cold as ice too. Too cold to back. I agree with that. Lamont Williams, max bet. Score in the first inning in Mets Marlins. And Adrian Holmes saying Jeffrey in the lineup for sure. Alshon Jeffrey in the lineup for sure, says our guy, Mr. Holmes. All right, copy and paste that. Okay. So I expect, Matt Randall says, what a great look. It's not easy to back Minor with the way he's pitching right now. 13 runs between his last two outings. He's got a 5.33 ERA in 4 starts. But, come on. Look at that Red Sox lineup. They're just going to set up their stars for Texas. And Texas doesn't want to get swept here at home. They are 42-35 at home. All right, let's keep rolling. Dodgers, Padres, Kershaw, Lucchesi. Kershaw's looked bad. Kershaw opens up at minus 220, now minus 232. This total in the Dodgers-Padres game opened at 8.5, juice to the under. It's now at 8 at Pinnacle. Trey Hicks says, all I see is Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. Does this correlate with Nova? There's Brant Hunt in the house. Nice. Brant Hunt says he can tell him to have a monster day. Brant Hunt, thank you for saying, Brant Hunt, we need you. We need you back here. We need your NBA looks, college basketball looks. We need you, Brant. Kershaw, 15-5, 3.15 ERA. 74 Fahrenheit, San Diego, 10 miles per hour, out to right center. Joey Lucchesi, 10-9, 4.28 ERA. Dodgers hitting 255, 793 OPS first lefties. Eddie Euler leaning Padres plus 1.5. Kershaw, 5.40 ERA over his last 5 starts. 13 home runs. He's given up last 6 starts. Career high 28 home runs. 2-0 against the Padres' 4 previous starts this year. 3.12 ERA, 1.15 whip. Traditionally, historically, he's been very good against them. 2.03 ERA, 0.99 whip. Opponents hitting 193 against them. Kershaw, 8-2 against the Padres, 15 starts at Petco Park. He likes it down there. 1.79 ERA, 0.90 whip. Lucchesi making his 4th start against the Dodgers. He gets touched by him. 5.29 ERA, but low whip. Bellinger's gone deep. Muncie's gone deep. Turner's gone deep against him. In 2 seasons against the Dodgers, Lucchesi's 1-4 with 6.67 ERA. KB says over in the Dodgers game. Yeah, but the market's moving towards the under, which concerns me. But that makes sense. Why do you think Pinnacle's going towards the under? That opened up at 8.5. It's an hour and 30 minutes ago. It moved to 8. Actually, an hour and 7 minutes ago. I'm not going to go up against that market move. Alex the Henderson Hustler says, Jimmy, you like Navy tonight? I've gone back and forth in Navy-Memphis, and at this point, I feel like it may be a stay off, and I know that's not what you guys want to hear. We'll talk to Babano about it. We'll talk to Teddy Covers about it. All right, we got 2 minutes until Babano joins us. Let's see if we can keep rolling through these games. Rockies, Giants, Freeland versus Beatty. What a couple of bums, man. What a couple of high prospect bums. Beatty and the Giants opened up at minus 118 and now minus 111. This total's at 9. 69 Fahrenheit, clear 9 miles per hour out to Santa Rock. He's been shit on the road all year. 28-52 on the road. Freeland, 2 innings on Saturday against the Dodgers. First game back following a groin injury. He's just been so bad this year. So bad, but so is Beatty. Beatty's last outing gave up 6 runs on 7 hits, 7 innings, and the lost to Braves on Friday. Eddie Euler says, I don't know why, but need to get better. That's a quote-unquote from Clayton Kershaw. Dom Ricci on Memphis. Eric Jones on Memphis. Kyle Jack liking the unders in the Navy game. And Nutflush on says, just a head up, it's going to be damp weather in San Diego and LA. Thank you, Nutflush. Nutflush, what are you doing on this game? I'd love to know what you're doing with this Giants game. It's an afternoon game. Nutflush, pull the rig over. Let us know how you're going to handle this. Eddie Euler leading San Fran. KB says Freeland at least has upside. I agree with that at take, too. I agree if you think if one of these guys is capable of having a good start, you could see it from Freeland. Could see it from Freeland. KB says Beatty going to get torched. All right, let's keep rolling. Keep rolling. Phillies Nationals. Harper crying like a baby after the game last night. They were saying mean things about me. 86 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 10 miles per hour in. Vargas, 7-8, 4.40 ERA, 1.33 whip. Strasburg, 17-6, 3.37 ERA, 1.05 whip. Strasburg's been pitching very well. Nationals going for the rare 5-game sweep. Nationals hitting 282, 823 OPS first lefties. Strasburg, 13-2, 2.62 ERA. Career against the Phillies. This year he struggled against them, 5.40 ERA, but last 7 starts rolling. 9 earned runs in 45 innings his last 7 starts. Vargas, 11th start for Philadelphia. Picked up his first win since being acquired last out. 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 6 2/3 against the Indians on Friday. Vargas struck out 8, walked 2. He looked good. 1.32 ERA, 7 career appearances against the Phillies. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with. I know we all want to talk football, and we're about to. Phillies, Nats. See if Babano's got any looks on any of these early games. Those are the early games. Okay, so at least we got to all of those. This opened at 9.5. It's now down to 9. Strasburg goes from -239 to -257. Dom Reach says the under 9.5 is a good look, in my opinion. And it's not there anymore. I wish it was still there. The under 9.5 in Philly, Washington. Oh, it is at UWager. It is at UWager. I agree. It's a good look. I agree. Let's see what that first 5 is. First half, total. What's the weather? 10 miles per hour in. Yeah, I agree. I agree we're going to see some nice pitching performances here. Damn, it opened at 5.5, but it was so juiced to the under. I bet you it was there for, came out this morning, and it was there for an hour. So what a mistake not taking it at 5.5. Annoying. All right, line shopping here. I will take this full game under. I will take this full game under. I'm getting it at UWager. It's the last 9.5 on the board. Line shopping here at SBR odds. Let me just quickly grab it. Full game under 9.5 at -120 at UWager. All right, here we go. Under 9.5 -120 at UWager. All right. Dom Reach says jumping on it now. Brad Hansen says, Jimmy, is Brewers a play as an underdog? I don't know. Do you want to? So you're going to now back a Brewer squad without Yelich, and then today without Braun or Kane. You're going to take Yelich, Braun, and Kane out of the lineup. Who cares if Suarez out of the lineup on the other side? Well, not who cares, but it's not something I want to do. There's Ron in the house, Ron Crawford. All right. Let's bring in our guy, Babano. So those are the early looks on the baseball card. I'm on just 2. And in all honesty, when I go back to my office and Bet365 is hanging a 9, I don't know if I'm going to bet what I just took at 9.5 at -120. But I'm putting it out here on the show. I will be betting the Rangers at -112, though, after looking at that Red Sox lineup and them trying to avoid the sweep. Let's bring in Babano in the house, representing Steeltown, Hamilton, Ontario. Babano, how are you doing on this Thursday morning, my guy?
I'm always excited. I'm always pumped up because this time of year, a Thursday means the beginning of a 4-day swing that is largely going to leave me either pissed off or extremely happy on a Monday morning next week. So we know these 4 days are important, and we know it's all about trying to pile up that bankroll. So let's do it.
Let's get to work right now. So we got the Thursday nighter. We got some NCAA football on this Thursday night, and we have afternoon baseball, which is starting to take a backseat as this last week in the season. Are you making any moves on this afternoon baseball card?
The afternoon card is interesting. Brewers and Reds is a fascinating game because one of the things I like to always do at this time of year when you see the team, clinch a playoff spot, clinch a division, and end up having that clubhouse celebration, the beer party, and all that. We saw that with the Brewers. A lot of something I always like to do is bet against that team just immediately the very next game. However, I'm hesitant to do that because if you're the Milwaukee Brewers, and you mentioned obviously yet Braun not being in the lineup, that's definitely going to hurt. They already have, of course, Yelich out for the season, but there's still a lot to accomplish for the Milwaukee Brewers. This isn't going to be one of those, we're coming to the ballpark unmotivated and with no incentive to keep winning these final few regular season games. Not when you could still catch the Washington Nationals for the first wild card spot, which means you'd be hosting that game at Miller Park. Not when you're only a game and a half behind the St. Louis Cardinals for the NL Central. You could still win that division, and if you do win that division, you avoid the wild card game altogether, which is nothing but a benefit, in my opinion. And then you can obviously get your starting rotation aligned properly for a division series next week. So if you're the Milwaukee Brewers, I don't anticipate a mail-it-in type of attitude from them here this afternoon in this game. So I was leaning Reds initially. That was my gut thought. But I think the Brewers, with everything that they can still play for and achieve in terms of moving up to first wild card or catching the Cardinals for the NL Central, which is still a possibility, I don't want to fade the Brewers anymore today. So that's a game where I was leaning Reds initially, but I'm off it. In terms of what I bet, Jimmy, in baseball, look, my life the last week and a half, or at least the last week anyway, it's had three guarantees, death taxes, and I fade the Chicago Cubs. And we're doing that. We're doing that again here tonight with the Pittsburgh Pirates and with Joe Musgrove. Look, this is a lifeless team. There's no energy. They're making tons of errors in the field. I mean, they had a game in the first game of that Pirates series, Jimmy, 5 errors committed by the Chicago Cubs. That's a team that's quit, mailed it in. It's been an absolute flame out, an absolute bomb for the last week and a half by this Cubs team, and they don't show any signs of getting out of it. You saw it even last night. Okay, they led early in that game. Bullpen can't hold a lead. Bullpen's been the main reason why the Cubs aren't even a postseason team. That bullpen's been a just absolute disaster. Quintana's been roughed up repeatedly the last several starts. I think he's got like an 8 ERA in his last 6 starts. He's on the mound tonight. I don't trust him. Musgrove's actually pitched a little bit better, but more than anything, this is a Cubs team not showing life, and once again in the favorites role tonight. Yeah, no problem. Ride in the Pirates one more time to get the sweep.
You know, I get the angle, the idea here makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. You know, it does. I mean, we've been talking about Bell, Marte, Diaz, Tucker out for a while. Now Brian Reynolds is out too for them. Javier Baez pinch hit yesterday. I wonder if he could spark this team. Musgrove has looked very good in his last 4 starts, 2.86 ERA. I understand why you want to back him here. 2-2 with a 1.47 ERA in 6 career starts against the Cubs. Faced them 3 times this year and completely shut them down, 1.08 ERA. Quintana looks terrible. Over his past 6 starts, he's got an 8.49 ERA. So this makes perfect sense. This makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense, man. Eric Nisbet says, get him, Ian, fade him. Eric Nisbet says the Cubs are definitely in the tank. Bullpen issues all year.
You realize the prices, by the way, I've cashed in with Pittsburgh the first 2 games. Like we got the Cubs laying minus 180 in these damn games. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's asinine. And I know it's based on full season stats, full season records, starting pitching matchup. I get that. But these are the kind of spots you can absolutely pick apart and rip apart here in the final week of the baseball season. These prices that are full season numbers that are not reflecting the lack of energy and just the lack of hope that we're seeing right now from the Chicago Cubs. Just lethargic, bad baseball, and it's not reflected in the price.
No, you're absolutely right. This makes a ton of sense. It just makes a ton of sense. I'm very curious to see what their lineups are, but I know the lineup's just going to scare me off, so maybe I shouldn't even look at the Pirates lineup. This makes a ton of sense. I'm just going to leave this as a Babano look here. Babano on the Pirates, and I certainly understand that. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it. Jin Rami says Pirates price is too steep to ride a sweep, in my opinion. I'm going to spend a little bit more time. We got some gold from our guy, Nut Flush Allen. It was hard to read it because he was mocking us Canadians for saying dressing room. As Babano knows, those of us who grew up playing hockey.
I only say dressing room and hockey. Let me make that 100% clear. Football, I'll say locker room. Baseball, I'll say clubhouse. You're not going to hear dressing room is the actual official term for hockey, believe it or not. But locker room, everything else. I don't say dressing room for football or other sport.
No one's going to believe you that that's the official term, dressing room. They've been railing me for 2 years over it. There's lots of talk in the dressing room about Beatty needing to go. But a few guys in the lineup talked about having his back. Only way they do that is runs. I got it at 8.5, but I still like the over at 9. Nut Flush Allen liking the over in the Giants game. Nut Flush Allen's been so good giving us winners in Giants action. What do you think about this spot, Freeland, Beatty, and backing the over here? Let's see how big this market move has gone. I didn't see it opening up at 8.5. Oh, it did go down to 8.5. Damn. Pinnacle opened it at 9, dropped it at 8.5. It was at 8.5 until 8:12 this morning. So I feel hesitant about taking it at 9. What do you think about the over in that spot?
I wouldn't talk anybody out of it. That's for sure. I mean, you're talking about 2 bad pitchers. You're talking about teams that have actually been able to hit the ball pretty decently lately. Even the Rockies, they've been hitting. The Giants, for the longest time, were in the tank offensively. But even they've started to put up a few runs in recent games. I think you're at least going to get some kind of effort from this team, the remaining games for Bochy. I know they got the big record already for Bochy in terms of career wins as a big league manager. And that was something that clearly you want. The players love the guy. They really wanted to get that done for him. and they were able to do that. But I don't think this is a Giants team that's going to just completely mail it in. So, and in terms of these two pitchers, I got no problems expecting them to struggle because that's pretty much what they've done all season long. So this total's getting hammered as we speak. It was 8.5. There's 9s popping up right now. So don't wait to bet this over. If you like it, get in on it quickly.
I agree. I'm not going to take it at 9. I just can't. I can't sit here and be responsible if I'm, missing these market moves and still betting them. Okay, let's get work on the gridiron. Babano, where do you want to start? Thursday nighter in NFL or Thursday nighter in college football?
We'll do NFL first because that's the game I got a little bit stronger opinion on. This is, look, Eagles and Packers, and there's no doubt about it. People are souring on Philadelphia. There's no question about that. I mean, 2 straight losses against Atlanta, Detroit. The narrative is a banged-up, beleaguered, injury-riddled football team, and there's no doubt. They've got injuries in a lot of different positions. The wide receiver position cluster injuries, although Alshon Jeffrey is coming back for this game tonight against the Packers. Of course, there's a key Jackson on each side of the football out. Malik Jackson on the defensive side and Deshaun Jackson on the offensive side at wide receiver. They're both not going to play tonight. The running back position's been decimated. So there's a lot of injuries, and obviously it's affected at Philadelphia. Back-to-back losses against Atlanta and Detroit here coming into this game. I get that sense, though, Jimmy, that this is like a cornered animal kind of spot here for the Eagles. They're 1-2. They don't want to fall to 1-3. I know the injuries are a concern, but I think you're going to get pretty good performance from them, trying to avoid a 3rd straight loss. And when you look at Green Bay, I'll give them all the credit in the world for the 3-0 start, and a defense that's looked absolutely terrific. How good is this defense, though? I'm still gonna be a little bit of a skeptic here when it comes to how good the Packer defense is, because you look at it, Chicago and Trubisky first game. You look at Kirk Cousins and the Vikings on the road, who actually moved the ball pretty well in that game against Green Bay. And Kirk Cousins' mistakes, especially in that fourth quarter, we remember that bad red zone INT he threw, consistently shot the Vikings in the foot in that game. Otherwise, they could have won. And then they played Denver, an offense that's been miserable this season. Joe Flacco looks like he's showing his age. Let's put it that way, Flacco, the way he's played for the Broncos this season. I think Carson Wentz, and at least having Jeffrey back is going to give him a key target. I think Carson Wentz in this Eagles offense is going to be way more of a test for Green Bay's defense than anything they've seen so far this season. And you look at the offense, I know Philadelphia's defense, it's had its issue. There's no question. 293 passing yards per game against Aaron Rodgers, that's a concern. But this Green Bay offense has looked out of sync a little bit this season. They're coming into a situation here where they just haven't been able to finish drives, and it's been a concern for them. So, look, the way I see it is we were all singing the praises of Philadelphia, or the narrative was Philadelphia is an NFC contender, maybe even a Super Bowl contender prior to the season, and I look at the current point spread for this game as being a notch or two higher than it would have been, say, in week 1. If this game's in week 1, Green Bay's laying a field goal in this game at most. They might only even be a 1 or 1.5 point favorite if this game's played in week 1. But because now Eagles injuries, 2 losses in a row to the Falcons and Lions, haven't looked all that great, I think there's now some value in Philadelphia in a buy low spot. This is the kind of thing I looked at last week with a couple of teams that were in buy low situations. Pittsburgh, Giants took advantage of it. I'm going to do that with the Eagles here. Plus, I got 4.5. That's the side I like here tonight.
You know what? I'm doing something new now. If I like the road team on a Thursday night, I'm just going to sit back and drink and not bet because it's just been killing me, and I can't keep making the same mistakes. And so at 4.5, at 5, I was like, come on, the Eagles can keep it close, especially when Alshon's going to try and make it work. But at this point, I wish Deshaun Jackson was out there. I wish we could test the Packers. Why am I saying we? I wish the Eagles could test the Packers secondary. I don't know if they can. I know that Wentz is going to go out there and give it his all. I've been fine with how Wentz has played all year. I'm going to stay off of it because I agree with you guys. And so I'm just going to stay off of it. But what about this total?
Maybe Green Bay is this awesome on defense, and they're going to prove it tonight, and they're going to shut down the Eagles and all that. But this smells like this classic spot in the NFL that you see. The media can't get enough of this Packers team and this Packers defense, and everybody's starting to say, what's wrong with the Eagles? 2 losses in a row, injury riddled, no hope now for the Eagles all of a sudden. That's usually the time we want to step in and back a team like that.
I agree, but it's Thursday night. And, okay, one thing that I think can happen here is it's a setup. We have a couple of them this week. And this reminds me of the Ravens-Browns game on Sunday, where one coach could clearly outcoach his opposition. And the Thursday nighter here, we have a rookie head coach for the Packers. First Thursday nighter. It's dangerous. I can understand why people will back the Eagles. Randy Lockhart on the Eagles. There's gas station sushi in the house. So I'm gonna stay off the side. I'm gonna stay off the side and just watch. Unlike Babano, who's been excellent so far in the NFL this year, I've had a bad start to my season, so I'm not going to make a move. What do you think about this total? We've seen a lot of movement with it, and I guess it has to do with injuries and the announcement that the Eagles will be stronger offensively than we had expected. It opened up at 47.5, quickly went down to 46, then went down to 45, and it's now back at 46. Juice to the over. Babano, you have a feel on the total?
Yeah, at 46, I'm kind of interested over the total now, that it's down to 46, because I don't think Green Bay's defense is going to just be this complete shutdown unit we've seen the first 3 weeks against weaker offenses. I'm fairly confident saying the Bears, the Vikings, and the Broncos are weaker offenses than what Green Bay is going to face tonight in Philadelphia. And on the flip side, as much as I think Philadelphia will have success offensively tonight, their defense is still a concern. Secondary, although to be honest, people are making a big deal out of Ronald Darby being out due to injury in the secondary. I don't make a big deal of it. Have you seen him play this year? He has been absolutely horrendous. He has been picked apart. He has been absolutely victimized. He can't find the ball when it's in the air. He can't stay in front of a receiver going down the field. He has been brutal in his cornerback position. So this nonsense that, we miss Ronald Darby for the game tonight, you won't miss him because the guy next up to take his spot certainly can't be any worse. But yeah, I would lean over the total tonight.
Yeah, so would I. But even that I'm hesitant to do here with the Packers defense. But I would lean over the total. And it may be something I actually pull the trigger on, as I'm not going to pull the trigger on the Eagles. All right, great stuff. But we need to talk to you about college football. But are there any other looks you want to share our way on this Sunday NFL card?
I like the G-Men. Again, I'm going to ride the G-Men again. 2.5, 3 against pathetic Washington on a short week, too, because they played on Monday night. I'm going to see if Daniel Jones can get it done for me again. And again, they're in a price range where a win probably cashes a ticket. So I like the Giants again. The over. I understand why the total's gone up in that game. It's Washington's defense is no good. The Giants' defense is also no good. That's the one issue or concern I have. This defense is going to be able to get enough stops, but they made a change in the Tampa game. They went away from man-on-man coverage to more zone press coverage, and it made a little bit of a difference in the second half. They actually changed up their scheme a little bit pass defense-wise in the second half against Tampa Bay. I was impressed with the alterations they made because actually for the first time all year we saw a little bit better defense from the Giants. Now, can that carry over into this game? We'll see, but I still like New York at that price there. I'm interested in Seattle -5 against Arizona for sure. Seattle, I think, off a loss, a misleading loss. They probably deserved a better fate, but they lost. They can take advantage of just an Arizona team that's all out of whack right now. Offensive line can't protect Murray. The defense is not very good right now for the Cardinals. That should be a Seattle win, I think, by a touchdown or more. I'm also looking at, let's see here, Carolina, Houston over the total, 47.5. Kyle Allen was good last week. Now, Arizona's defense, not great, but I still have questions about Houston's defense, and I certainly have questions about Carolina's defense. I don't think they've been great. I like what I'm seeing out of Watson, obviously indoors in Houston. I think we'll get points in that game. And what's the other one? I'm trying to make a case for Atlanta, -4 against Tennessee. I know Atlanta last week, and I was on the Colts last week against Atlanta. I said, I like the Colts in this spot, but we know that the sharp dichotomy, Jimmy, that we've seen Atlanta home to road. They beat Philly at home. They look awful on the road against Minnesota and Indianapolis. Now they're back home, and I've not seen anything out of Tennessee's offense and Mariota, who continues to not really show you that he's ready to be a number one quarterback right now. If they fall behind in this game and Atlanta, Matt Ryan gets that passing game going, and let's be honest, Matt Ryan and that offense always seem to look a lot better and a lot more proficient inside Mercedes-Benz Dome there in Atlanta than they do on the road. And if Tennessee falls behind, they don't have the offense really to come through the back door and get you. That's not a come-from-behind team, Tennessee, with the offense they have. So I think it's a good spot for Atlanta coming back home off the loss to the Colts, where they really only played good in the second half. They had an awful first half. Turnovers, penalties, just completely plagued Dan Quinn's team. I think it's a good spot, decent price, -4 to look toward Atlanta.
Yeah, I like your looks, and I'm just not seeing things clearly right now. I did add a fourth bet. I did add the Broncos at -3 with this rant. I thought the 3.5s were going to be on the board, and I just wanted to see if I could get the 3 in my pocket and then make decisions later. And let's see, did I? Yeah, no, there's the 3.5 isn't even on the board anymore. Okay, that scares me. Okay, I know we need to talk college football badly with you, Babano. We need you on the show more than just one day a week here. Babano, let's not spend too much time on it, but I think that total in the Giants-Redskins game is too high, with the Redskins being able to now plan to defend the pass, and that option's not going to work for Daniel Jones. I think 49.5 is too high, but I have not pulled the trigger. You still think this Giants offense puts up a ton of points when teams can now prepare to go against a Barkley-less Giant squad?
Well, here's the thing. A good defense, even a decent defense, now that there's a game of videotape, or a game that, not videotape, it's not the 1980s, it's 2019, but you get my point. There's visual evidence now of Daniel Jones in a game from that Tampa game last week. A decent to good defense can probably see what happened last week, tailor a defensive game plan to shut him down or at least neutralize him. But is Washington, that defense, capable of doing that? That's a bad defense. That's my fear. A decent defense, a good defense to see what Jones did last week and then have the game plan to shut him down. Yeah, definitely I could see it. But has Washington got the personnel and the scheming defensively to do that based on anything you've seen from the Redskins on that defensive side of the football this season? I don't trust them to do it. They have been a hideous defense. So, you put the Giants and you put Daniel Jones against, I don't know, Jacksonville or New England or a defense that's played very good this season. Yeah, I could definitely see him struggling with a game of film on him. Washington's pathetic defense to make those adjustments and be able to diagnose how to stop Daniel Jones after that one game. I don't trust them because I really think the defense and the personnel on it is that bad right now.
Oh, okay. Great stuff from Perfect Rotation. He says, talking about Keenum in a walking boot. So Colt McCoy's returned to practice. Could Haskins get a start? Colt McCoy in a walking boot, further complicating the Redskins quarterback situation. Okay, we got to move on. I'm still close to making a move on that under. I just feel like
wait it out. I mean, this total probably could still go higher. So if you want the under, and it clearly, Jimmy, you sound like you like the under here, just wait it out because you might even get higher than 49.5 by Sunday.
Yeah, but the only thing that scares me is Pinnacle's just taking their. Oh no, they never went to 49.5. Okay, they've stuck at 49. Okay, that makes me feel a little better. Okay, that perfect, Rafa. Good. So we have an extra couple minutes for Babano. Okay, Babano, let's get into college football. Are you making a move on today's action in Navy-Memphis?
No, briefly, I'm not. Navy plus points, I always try to make a case because that's the point spread role Ken Niumatalolo's been phenomenal in with Navy. The midshipmen have been great underdogs for the most part with Coach Ken there. But I think Memphis has the chance to be really, really good, and I think their defense could be the best. We've always said for years, Jimmy, Memphis defense has held them back. They've always had the offense. They've always had the quarterback play, the explosiveness on that side of the ball, but the defense at times has been lacking. This could be the best Memphis defense in years, and I worry about that here for Navy. And I haven't seen Navy play enough quality competition yet. This is by far Navy's toughest opponent so far. So it's tough. I really believe in Memphis, though, being quite good, like a team that could actually run the table and maybe be a New Year's Six bowl team in January. That kind of good for this Memphis team. Memphis has struggled with Navy, though. You look back the last couple meetings, they have shown you no instances, no evidence that they can easily beat this Navy team. They've struggled going up against the midshipmen. That's another concern I have. So I would probably try to make a case for Memphis, but there's enough to keep me off the game. It's not one I bet.
Not one you bet. Okay, well, what about on Friday? We got some big looks, but I don't want to force you on Friday because we don't have a ton of time. So what is a look that you're looking to hammer this weekend in NCAA football?
All right, we'll start with Friday night because I don't mind this Friday night card actually a little bit. There's a couple spots. I like Duke +3. I like Cutcliffe. Cutcliffe is 6-1 ATS as a dog now, last 7 tries. This is the role you want Duke in, and Duke's off a bye. Quality coach coming off a bye. I like it. Virginia Tech's not impressed me. Okay, Furman. Okay, Old Dominion, and then you lost your one game against anybody decent against Boston College in your first game. So, and again, I think the quarterback play for Virginia Tech's been absolutely disappointing. Willis, what you talking about, Willis? I mean, this is a guy that unfortunately I had some high hopes for having a nice season here, and it hasn't happened so far. And the defense, Bud Foster, is naming only, not in reputation, not reality. This is still not a great Virginia Tech defense. I like Duke there, and I like Maryland, the Terps. Give me the Turtles there against Penn State. I know Penn State has absolutely crushed this team, killed them the last 2 years, Penn State over Maryland. But there's a different team, different season. You had Barkley there 1 year for Penn State. You had Trace McSorley there last year. I am not impressed with Penn State. Color me unimpressed with their 3-0 start. Idaho is terrible. That was one of their wins. Buffalo lost a ton from last year. And yes, Penn State won that game against Buffalo, but they were outgained, believe it or not. Outgained by 72 yards by Buffalo, Penn State. And then they beat Pitt 17-10 more because Pitt shot themselves in the foot. Pat Narduzzi keeps kicking field goals in the red zone more than anything Penn State did in that game. Maryland, this is a good situation. They got finally smacked around against Temple. I think a little wake-up call. After crushing Howard and Syracuse, you got a wake-up call losing to Temple like that. Come home. It's a blackout at College Park Friday night. They announced they sold out this game yesterday. So that's that you can tell that place is probably going to be a lot more amped for a Maryland home game than normal on a Friday night. I am not – and Penn State is a Big Ten road favorite last year, Jimmy. 1-3 against the spread. They didn't cover at Rutgers. They didn't cover at Indiana. They didn't cover at Michigan. And – the one cover was against Illinois, and they were down by 3 in that game. Remember that Penn State-Illinois game last year? They were down by 3 to Illinois in the second half. And then Penn State just ran them off the field the rest of the way, 63-24. But they were down by 3, Penn State, at one point in that Illinois game. That was their only cover as Big Ten road favorites last year, and that was a better Penn State team, in my opinion. I'm not sold on Sean Clifford, the quarterback, going on the road here. Yeah, give me Maryland here. I think they make it a game.
Backing Maryland, I like both those looks, Maryland and Duke. Those are looks that Teddy's been talking about, and I will bring them up with Teddy. We've got to move over to Teddy Covers right now, Babano, but is there anything else that you want to just very quickly throw our way on the Saturday card?
All right, Saturday, I'll run them through. We're out of time, so we won't do analysis. Here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Central Michigan, plus 17.5 against Western Michigan, a team that I think is undervalued going into conference play. I'm looking at Temple, minus 8.5 against Georgia Tech. I'm kind of interested in NC State, plus 7 because of the Florida State defensive injuries. They just lost a huge piece of their defense last week in that Louisville game to injury, out for the season, so we're kind of interested there. UNLV, go fight win, plus 9.5 against Wyoming, because Wyoming's been outgained in every game. The one point spread role Tony Sanchez has been phenomenal in, is on the road catching points as an underdog. They covered against Northwestern in that role. I think they can be good in that role again. We're going to look at, let me see here quickly. Kansas State off a bye getting points. I like Kleiman here. And Oklahoma State's defense, I don't trust laying points. Kind of like the over in that game as well. Virginia, plus 12.5 against Notre Dame. Very interested in that game as well. East Carolina's bad, but Old Dominion's in a brutal spot off the game that they had a lead against Virginia. It was a game they truly got pumped up for, and they couldn't close the deal. And now they're back home laying points. East Carolina's horrible. I get that, but I thought this team was going to be better coming into the season than they've shown so far. So I'm going to give ECU plus the 3 points one more chance to impress me this weekend. And let's see, I kind of like that USC-Washington game over the total as well, but that total is getting hammered up. I do think Washington's a team I'm looking to bet over the total because I think their offense is way better. with Eason at quarterback. They're going to make you forget Browning quickly. Eason can play at a much higher level than Browning. USC, we know they're going to play fast. Graham Harrell, the air raid offense they've got there. I know Washington's got a really, really good defense still, but you saw even Matt Fink come in there for USC last week against a good Utah defense and move the ball. I think they'll be able to at least score some points. I think Washington will have their way against the USC defense, so I like points there in that game as well. So those are just some of the ones we're looking at on Saturday, Jimmy.
Those are great looks, and that gives us a ton of fodder to talk about for the rest of the week here on the show. So very, very thankful for you giving us those leans or moves that you're close to making. I jot down all those notes, and I'll bring them up with Teddy Covers. What a treat it is to roll with you, Babano, here every Thursday morning on Betting with the Bag, and then we get the Babano Teddy Covers battery that puts money in our pockets. Babano, thank you so much. Where can we find you on Twitter, and tell us a little bit about your closing line show on Saturday morning?
Yeah, Twitter at Bobano. Every day we're active on there with plays, with opinions. Second half plays. We've been doing really good with second half plays. So follow me just for that. And let's try to make some money with these halftime bets because it's been a nice start to NFL and college football with halftime bets. So Twitter at Bobano. And of course, every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, closing line college football show right here on the SBR YouTube channel. Me, Drew Martin, Big Ragu, DJ Big Boss. We have a lot of fun, the four of us together, breaking down the Saturday card. We'll be doing it again this Saturday. Don't miss it.
It is a great show. It is a fantastic show with all four of you guys. It's fun watching shows when everybody's so different from each other. So I'm a big fan of that show. Beautiful stuff. Getting a lot of love from the chat. Eric Nisbet says, respect. Ian Alex Ramirez giving you 5 thumbs up. And Per Rotation says, yeah, we need Babano on here more often so the football segments are much longer. And that is the future. The future on this show is much more football. Last week of baseball, and then we get into NHL, NBA, and football. And that's when we can really do some eating. Thank you so much for joining us, Ian Cameron. Have a wonderful Thursday and have a very profitable weekend.
Thanks, Jimmy. Good luck to you and everybody watching the show. Take care.
I love it. There's Babano. We go right from Babano to Teddy Covers. Teddy Covers representing Las Vegas, Nevada. We got Teddy Covers in the house on this Thursday morning. Teddy Covers, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing just fine. I gotta say, Babano went through like half my card. Me and him are thinking on a lot of the same games the same way this week. So hopefully he has a good week.
I was thinking the same thing, Teddy. I was thinking the exact same thing. So let's go over it right now. You liked Duke yesterday. Big Ragu gave Duke out. So I want to go over some of these looks. This is what we've been doing on Thursdays, is going over Ragu, Big Boss's looks from the Pick 6 show, then going over Babano's looks. And then on Friday, we sort of just let Teddy kind of roll with his looks. And we still want to hear Teddy's looks on Thursday. But let's go right now. Actually, you know what? Instead of doing that right this second, let's get this. Are you making a move on the Thursday nighter tonight in NFL?
Yes.
What is
I
it?
am.
Talk to us.
Oh no! Let's let the drama build. I bet Philly plus 4.5. I got the Eagles plus 4.5 in my pocket. As soon as I found out that Jeffrey was good to go or likely to go, I pulled the trigger on that. We've seen in. There's a bunch of factors to consider, but let's start with a little anti-Packers. All right, Green Bay's been outgained on a yards per play basis this season. That offense has not worked. You know, we've seen a couple of big plays from Aaron Rodgers. The running game hasn't been there. Basically, the defense has carried the Packers through their first 3 ball games. I don't know. They haven't faced a balanced offense. Philly's got a balanced offense. I think Philly's offense is the best offense that Green Bay has faced so far, bar none. So I expect them to be challenged. And I don't trust the Packers offense to put up points in bunches. Early in the season, through week 5, you can play the road teams in the NFL on Thursday night. You can't do it later in the season. The trends are pretty strong against the road teams after everyone gets acclimated. But the first couple of weeks of the campaign, you can get away with playing road teams in the dog spot. And I think Philly's every bit as good as Green Bay, if not better. I like Philly off 2 losses. They haven't lost 3 in a row since Peterson's first year on the job. They're not a losing streak type of team. So I look at that, and if you watched Philly last week, they were the better team that lost. That happens sometimes in the NFL. You watch them the week before, you can make the argument they were the better team that lost. I want the better team that lost coming off of back-to-back losses, catching points. And I think Philly is that team tonight. So I took the Eagles plus the 4.5s. They're disappearing. You can still find a handful of them, but mostly right now we're looking at 4s. Even at 4, I would only look at the Philadelphia side of the equation. I don't trust Green Bay as chalk of more than a field goal right now against a quality foe.
It's extremely exciting. And we've had a lot of Eagles backers come out of the cloud. You know, we were hearing it was just Green Bay. And Muhammad Joma is going to make us a play of the day video. He's a 4 for 4 on his play of the day videos. He's going to be all over Green Bay. And it's great to hear that you're back in the road team, and that's going to give a lot of these guys in the chat confidence. I'm just so scared. I like the road team, and it just costs me money on these Thursday nights. But I agree with you that this is the right time, if you're going to back a road team, to do it now. You know, week 4, because you can't. The short week really hurts. Do you feel like there's a big coaching advantage for the Eagles? LaFleur on his first Thursday night of his career?
So when I wrote the game up for my clients, the very first line of the write-up was, I have no hesitation betting against a first-year head coach in his first Thursday night football appearance. I mean, that was literally my opening line. So, yes, I do think it negatively affects Green Bay. I think the coach in their first appearance on Thursday night, it's hard to get your team ready for a Thursday night game. We've seen experienced coaches have problems. Look no further than Tennessee last week, completely unprepared to play on Thursday night. It can and does happen. So I think that if I had to say, where's the coaching edge tonight? It's not towards Green Bay. The rookie head coach is likely to have trouble in a spot like this.
I agree with that completely. And we have Teddy Covers lining right up with the taint play today from Matt Randall. And that's two guys you want to be on the same side as. So very, very interesting. You have any feel on this total tonight in Thursday Night Football?
So I don't have a strong take. I'm not betting the total. It's the type of game where I could see both scenarios playing out. I could see it being a low-scoring defensive scrum, or I could see these two QBs chucking it around. We are talking about two balanced offenses and two potentially potent offenses, even though Green Bay's offensive numbers have been a little bit dicey this season. It's not like the Philly has been shutting teams down in the secondary. So I could easily picture a high-scoring affair on Thursday night. And yet, the Thursday night games tend to be dirty. They tend to be, scrummy. They tend to be less offensively efficient than games that are played on Sunday when teams have a full week to prepare. You see a lot of choppy game plans. You see a lot of poor execution on offense. So I'm not in a rush to get to the window with the Thursday night over when we've seen nothing but unders on Thursday Night Football so far this year, and that's happened for a reason. So it's not a total I'm going to get involved with. I want to talk SBR Pick 6 contest for a second too, though, Jimmy, because I kind of the first 2 weeks I just sort of let's play this one, let's play that one. I didn't even put my client plays in there. I'm like, we'll put a little of this around, and then I see you guys tweeting out the standings, and I'm sitting there like 7-10-1. Oh no, this can't happen. So from this week, I'm taking it seriously. Not that but I was just kind of putting in plays. This week I'm going to put in my best 6 plays, and we'll see what happens with it.
Oh, that's exciting.
Absolutely, that's a contest that you can still enter, right? Everyone can still enter that contest. So there was some talk that it was out after 3 weeks. That's not the case. You can enter that contest all season. There are prizes all season long, right, Jimmy?
Absolutely. $1,600 every single week in the $50,000 Pick 6 contest. Here is the link right now. Never too late to enter. And we have our live Pick 6 show with the boss and the sauce and myself. And that is every Wednesday night, where we toast the victors and roast the losers. And even when Teddy's not trying, he's beating me in the contest. It's been a real bad start, man. I was the same as you when I saw that tweeted out. I was like, oh no.
Well, me and you both, Jimmy. Me and you both. And it wasn't. Look, to say I'm not trying is not the appropriate thing. But it wasn't something I was focused on. I was like, all right, I kind of like this. Oh yeah, let's use that one as a contest play. The focus level wasn't there. This week, the focus level is going to be there. They're going to tweet out the results. The focus level's got to be there, because I can't be sitting there at 7-10-1. Neither can you. Let's put out some winners this week. What do you say?
And you know what? It's very interesting that your angles on this Thursday night game are the same as mine. And I was close to making a move on the Eagles, and I stopped myself. And again, it's just a bias, clearly a recency bias and a vividness bias. It's both biases. Losing on Thursday night with the road team and losing last week on Thursday night with the road team. So that's in my head. But I also like the over. I have a feeling that these quarterbacks are going to put up some big plays. And we're talking about LaFleur not having enough time to properly prepare for what Philadelphia can bring. And we know that Peterson can show a lot of different looks. And if we know that Alshon Jeffrey's going to be back, we don't know if he's healthy. I want to make a move on the over. And I've yet to do that. I'll keep an eye on that, but I'm happy that you're on it. Okay, so Teddy, we're going to ask you about your NFL looks on the rest of the card tomorrow. We're going to focus on that tomorrow. Right now, we'd like to get into more NCAA football looks. Are you making a move on Memphis Navy?
Oh, no, I'm not touching it. And I mean, honestly, my analysis, I heard Babano talk about, I'm like, that's my analysis of this game. I don't trust the series history shows us so clearly that Memphis has had a lot of problems with Navy. I haven't seen the appropriate level of explosiveness from the Memphis offense this year that makes me excited about laying this double-digit price. But I'm still not convinced that Navy is any good. Tonight maybe we find that out. But if I'm not convinced Navy's any good, Memphis is pretty good. And if Navy's not, 2 touchdowns, they can win this game. So this is a watch and learn game. I will absolutely have this game on tonight, along with the NFL game. But it's not a game that I'm going to bet. I haven't seen Navy play yet.
Okay, and then also this total's gone from 55 down to 54.5 and 53.5 now at Heritage and Intertops and Bet365. Do you agree with this market move towards the under?
Well, I mean, that's a move towards Navy. Navy correlates with under. Navy's not going to hang in this game if it's a shootout. If the Tigers are marching up and down the field, Navy's not trading touchdowns with them all night. So I think there is some correlation between the dog and the under, and with the favorite and the over. Modest correlation, but it's a type of deal where if you like Memphis, maybe you try some over. If you like Navy, maybe you look to, get a little 2.6 to 1 with some under. But again, it's not a total that I'm going to get involved with.
You know what, Teddy? I actually have to ask you about an NFL game right now. But you know what? I'll let this lead us into it. And I know, God, I wish these shows were 3-4 hours long. Dom Reach says ask. So I'm going to let Dom ask a question. Then I'm going to ask a question because there's a move I want to make in NFL. Dom says, ask Teddy, is the Thursday night bias in NFL, does that correlate to the NCAA on Thursday night football?
It does not. The NCAA, Thursday night football for the NCAA, I mean, in terms of like the strategy I try to look on Thursday nights is bet the better team. A lot of time they're for whatever reason, for the Thursday night college games, they're trying to make it look competitive. They're trying to make a case for the dog. The hype will come in on whichever team is not as good. You find the better team on Thursday night football, you're usually going to cash your ticket. I have no problems laying in college football. But again, this situation, given the series history tonight, Memphis hasn't been able to do that against Navy. And until I see him do it against Navy, I'm not going to lay doubles with them. But the home team Thursday night is not, on Thursday night college, is not the same as Thursday night NFL, because NFL they play on Sunday. And the NFL game, it's harder and more physical than the college game. It really is.
Oh, it's a great answer and a great question. So great work by both you guys. Okay, Teddy, there's a move I want to make in NFL, and it's going against the market move, and I want to talk to you about it before I make a move. I want the under in Redskins Giants. I think this move from 46.5 to 49.5 is ridiculous. The Redskins, I know, have a bad defense, but now they get to prepare all week to stop a Giants offense that doesn't have Saquon, and Daniel Jones' option just isn't going to play again. We have tape on it now. Also, we have a Redskins team that has Keenum in a boot. We don't know who's going to start. McCoy's back at practice. Has Haskins come in? I think this is too high, even with bad defenses. Too high. Too high, and I want to make a move on the under, but I'm afraid to go against the market. What do you think of the under 49.5 in Redskins Giants?
These are two awful defenses. I mean, awful. I don't want any part of an under in this game. And I understand your concept that we don't trust the offenses. But the Giants and the Redskins, through 3 games, haven't stopped anybody who was trying to score. Neither team. Well, the Giants were able to get a stop because the Bucks missed a field goal at the end of the game. The rookie kicker missed a field goal. But those are the stops the Giants are getting when the other team shoots themselves in the foot. And those are the stops the Redskins are getting when the other team shoots themselves in the foot. So you're talking about a game with 2 bottom 5 defenses, and I might be generous. There might be 2 bottom 3 defenses. I'm not playing an under in that game. Not going to do it. Understand the market move, agree with the market move. Didn't get down on the over at the best price, so I'm not getting involved in the game from a total standpoint. But this isn't an under I want. I mean, I'm curious. What do you see in this one? That is it that Barkley's hurt, or that the Redskins' offense is so dicey right now? All of which makes sense. And frankly, if this gets to 49.5, 50, and what are we at? We're probably at 49.5 now. I'm not going to talk you out of it. It's just not a bet I'm going to make. And you're getting the best of the number. Betting the other way after a 3-point line move in the NFL, it's a long-term positive expectation strategy. It's not something I would tell you, oh, don't do that. But my handicap of this matchup says don't do that. But from a value standpoint, from a market standpoint, if you see it that way standpoint, what are the Giants going to do without Barkley standpoint? There's enough cases you can make here for the under, even though it's not. I'm too worried about these defenses to make it. There's enough cases to make here for the under that if you're getting a good number, don't let me talk you out of it.
Oh God.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Dude, these are horrible defenses. I mean, horrible.
No,
the Dolphins' defense is worse. Who else is the worst? I don't know if anyone else is the worst defense in these two teams besides Miami. Can you think of one?
They're bad. They're bad. And all my friends in the chat are like, don't do it. Please don't do it. We see you crumbling right now in NFL.
You want to talk about a game that would be the least fun game ever to watch. It'd be an under. It's like you're playing under, like Aaron Rodgers is up against Tom Brady. You're like, yeah, let's play the under in this one. It's just some unders take years off your life. This one has that potential. Then again, who knows? Do these teams execute in the red zone? You can see a field goal game. Wouldn't shock me, 13-3 at the half, one of those type of games where it's just field goal, field goal, field goal. So don't let me talk you out of it, but there's no way I play it.
I feel you. Well, I have more time to break this down. Guru says you're taking the bottom two defenses of the league next to the Dolphins. They will hand points to the other team. Okay, and G-Sauce says just take the Redskins. We'll talk about all that. We need to know more about Keenum, even though Keenum, coming off the worst game of his career, I expect him to be better if he can run. Okay, let's get into it. Babano's looks. Babano opens up with a play that Big Ragu likes, and I'm thinking that you may be on the same side. Babano liking Duke +3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, this is one where it feels to me like, I'm not going to say the wrong team's favored, but Duke's live in this game. And Babano's analysis was spot on. There's been nothing about Virginia Tech this year that has shown any buy sign. There was nothing about Virginia Tech last year that showed any buy sign. There was talk of the quarterback. Willis, this is going to be his year. It hasn't been. There's talk, Bud Foster's defense. It hasn't shown up. Talent level's not there. Virginia Tech's not a team I want to lay points with. And when you talk about Cutcliffe and the dog roll, look, Duke does not step up in class super well. We saw that now against Alabama in the opener. But when you put Duke against a team that they're not outclassed against athletically, and I don't think they are here, Cutcliffe will outcoach anyone. He will. Duke plus is the only way I could look in this game.
Duke plus.
Note, I want the +3. I'm not taking Duke money line. I want the +3. I want that push possibility if Virginia Tech wins by a field goal. To me, that's the better bet than the money line in this one. You can sprinkle on the money line, put the +3 in your pocket. There's a decent chance that Virginia Tech wins this game by exactly 3.
Yeah, I like this look. Next look on his card is a look that we've already heard you back, but let's hear it one more time. Maryland +6.5.
Now, when did you hear me back Maryland?
Oh, maybe I'm getting confused with last night's Big Six show. My fault.
Yeah. Because I was like, this isn't a game I'm going to play. And I heard you saying, I think Teddy likes that. I'm like, no. The series, what happened the last 2 years between Penn State and Maryland is too much for me to overcome. And Babano's talking about it's a sellout for Maryland. Half of the people going to the game are Penn State fans. That's a sellout because there's going to be a huge Penn State contingent in that stadium. Maryland's not going to sell out. Maryland doesn't sell out. There will be plenty of noise every time Penn State scores a touchdown. No shortage of Nittany Lions graduates in the area. And when you have Penn State, the better program, they recruit the same area. When you have a team that's in a better program that's recruiting the same area, you tend to see stuff like Bill Snyder at Kansas State against Kansas, where every year that they can, Kansas State would the extra touchdown would come. They wouldn't take it easy on their folks. They want to get all the recruits. They want to recruit who's on the fence. Well, Maryland, Penn State, come to us. When you kill the other team, that helps in that regard. and it's a kill spot for Penn State. They haven't been good. I'm not excited about laying with Penn State. I'm not going to lay with Penn State, but they grade out a fair bit better than Maryland does. The whole sellout. It's a sellout with Penn State fans. That's why it's a sellout. So be aware. Not a game I'm going to play.
Yeah, and I'm going over my notes now from Boss and Ragu and from the other cappers, and they don't have Maryland either. I don't know what, but thank you for clearing that up. That's very, very important too. Please, when I've said something that's incorrect, make sure that our audience knows that that's a mistake.
Yeah, me too. But me too, Jimmy. I mean, look, this is live. We have some notes in front of us. You see me glance this way and glance that way, but it's not like I have every single thing that I'm using right in front of me on the screen. You're the same way. There's going to be mistakes. We're both human. And if you guys see something and we screw up, just let us know in the chat. We'll correct it. We'll correct it on air. And Jimmy, it's okay to give me opinions I don't have. Give me some more I don't have.
My fault. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to Babano's next look. Very exciting game. Central Michigan, Western Michigan, and taking the big dog plus the big points at 17. What do you think of his backing Central Michigan here?
So I'm disappointed that he's backing Central Michigan because Central Michigan is one of these plays this week that I had on my radar. I'm like, no one's going to notice this one. No one's paying attention to Central and Western. It absolutely stands out, as a play. Central's won there at least the last 3 times they've been there. In fact, the road team, I think, has won the last 7 in this series. Legitimate rivalry between Central and Western. Someone that spent many years in Michigan. It's not that far from Mount Pleasant to Kalamazoo. A lot of the kids recruited from the same high schools. They all know each other. It's a legit rivalry here. Between these two squads. It's been an underdog series, and it's a Central Michigan squad. They were awful last year, okay? They were the bottom of the barrel in the MAC last year. They're not this year. They had that bad opener against Wisconsin that doesn't look as bad now. And since then, these are your last 2 games. I mean, look what they did against Miami. And you wonder, all right, Miami wasn't interested. Maybe they're a little bit banged up after that. The stuff I'm reading is Central played a really good game. They played a really good game the week before. They may well be bet on here. I could only look at the chips. Plus, that is most assuredly on my short list this week.
This total, too, Steve liking the over in CMU, WMU, and then Raven in the Desert saying Central Michigan quarterback out. I will need to research that right now. So why don't I research that quickly? Did you know about that, Teddy?
Yeah. The Central Michigan, it's not a situation with Central Michigan where it's a stud QB that we're overly concerned about, but it's definitely something worth paying attention to. Like I said, it's on the list. I've yet to pull the trigger, but between tonight and tomorrow morning, we'll be pulling the trigger on a bunch of this stuff. So we'll see. Because again, Thursdays you get a lot of information. Today is a pure work day. You sit down, you're going through one game after the next. What do we find? What's the latest update? What's the practice report? We find a lot of information on Thursdays that are very, very helpful for making play or pass decisions from a short list. I mean, again, my process is go through the whole card, isolate 15, 20, 25 games that you're interested in, and those are the ones you're going to put your time into. And that's, what all day Thursday is all about pretty much, is researching these games, finding out all the little stuff, going through all of those local papers, going through all those Twitter feeds. It's a dig, you're just digging all day, which is fun. That's one of the things I love about handicapping is, this is the part of handicapping that I truly enjoy, where it's you and the information and what can you find, and you're just, let's see what we see, let's see what we see, let's see what we see. And the info by the end of the day, oh, hey, here's a play. All right, let's bet this one. Oh, this is good for the clients. The line's still where it is. This is great. The line's going to hold still, that's my process for a Thursday, pretty much throughout the college football season.
Big Ragu and Steve are both on the over in that Central Michigan, Western Michigan spot. Opened at 59. Now it's either at 59. Oh, it's juiced heavy at 59, the over at Bet Online. But it could get 59.5 or 60. What do you think of the over in that game?
I don't think Central's going to win or to hang tough in a shootout. I think if Central's going to cover this game, if Western Michigan gets to 40, Central's in trouble. So my initial lean towards Central Michigan says I'm not necessarily interested in the over. Western's got the better of these two offenses. And if Western, again, if they're up and down the field, Central's going to get wiped. And they got wiped last year by Western Michigan. It was a non-competitive loss.
The next look on Babano's card is a spot a lot of people are backing this week, Temple.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Temple's, and the money's coming for the Ramblin' Wreck, which is something that surprised me. It is you want to talk about a spot. I do worry about the price range here. I would really, I'd love to lay a touchdown with the Owls instead of the 8.5, 9, because Temple's not a let's blow them out, let's extend the score type of team. They're a one-score win type of team. But when you have a squad like Georgia Tech that, again, from last year to this year, everything's different, steep learning curve, different blocking schemes. When you're playing a team like Temple that's very physical in the trenches, it's going to be a bad matchup for Georgia Tech. So I do think I think the Owls are going to win this game, and they may well win it by margin. Temple is on my short list.
His next move is going against this market move, 127-128, North Carolina State, Florida State, backing the dog, North Carolina State at plus 6.5. What do you think of that?
I have such mixed feelings. I think we talked a little bit yesterday about Florida State. And they're a team right now I really do not know what to do with. And there's a lot of teams like that in college football. And there'll be more as the season progresses, although as the season progresses, we'll also take some of the teams that right now we don't know what to do with, and later on we might have an idea what to do with them. But it's not unusual to have a good handful of teams. I'm like, geez, I don't know. I don't know with Florida State right now. They've shown buy signs. And I liked what they did last week. The first time all year they've really took a punch and punched back effectively. And that's a character issue. And again, we talk about the embattled head coaches. I'm no fan of Chip Kelly. All right, I'm not. I'm a fan of Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart was a winner. Willie Taggart turned programs around. Willie Taggart is not hopeless. He's not stupid. He's not a guy that doesn't get it. So I'm not looking at FSU as a hopeless situation. At the same time, am I excited about laying a price with them? I don't know. I don't know with Florida State right now. And a team like, there's plenty of teams. There's plenty of opportunities. The season goes for another 3 months. So it's not like I got to force a play on Florida State right now. I don't know. I'll watch them. Again, I watched them last week, and part of me was impressed with what they did. Maybe there's a buy sign there. Not this week yet. We'll watch and learn.
One of the looks Ragu was talking about was backing Florida State early. Seems like the adjustments or whatever is happening at halftime with Taggart haven't been as successful as his plan to start out the game. What do you think of that idea?
So when you find a team that falls into a pattern, whether it's a first half pattern, a second half pattern, a slow starts pattern, a fast starts pattern, bet it. The markets aren't going to catch up. If you're paying attention and you see something like that and it's clear in September, you can make money with that all year. And the markets are going to do what they do. The markets are going to go and they'll pay no attention to it whatsoever. Well, how they're going to create the first half point spread or the first half total or whatever it is pure math. Here's the game total. Here's the team total. Cut it. Split it in half and yada, and adjust slightly. But you don't see any significant marketplace adjustments until a streak like that is a year old. And then you start to see Alabama or Clemson and the teams that have been killing squads in the first half and have built a first half betting bandwagon. It takes a year plus for the markets to notice that. So if you see something like that, if you're paying attention, if you've got your eye on a team that, hey man, consistently slow starts, we've seen that every game. Yeah, or consistently fast starts, like we're talking about here. That's something worth betting until proven otherwise. I have no argument with that strategy or philosophy. The guy that's paying attention in college football, Jimmy, the guy that's just doing nothing but paying attention, can and will make money because the markets aren't focused on the things that someone that pays attention is going to be focused on. The markets are going to be a lot of stats and numbers and someone that's actually watching the games and saying, this quarterback can play. Forget what the box score says. This quarterback can play, or this team keeps on getting off to slow starts. They're not right. The effort's not there, or the execution's not there. It takes this QB a couple of series to wake up. That's stuff you can make money with. It really is. Don't be afraid of your own opinions. Don't be afraid of the knowledge that you create by watching games closely and paying attention to what you see.
I like it. I like that look that Ragu's on. He knows that team inside and out, and I like it a lot. Here we have a spot that Babano's on, and so is Raven in the Desert in our chat, who's a spectacular college football capper. Spectacular capper all around, but God, he's just eating in college football. And they both are on UNLV plus the points. It opened at 10. It's now at 9. You can get it possibly at 9.5 at some books. They're both on UNLV, and that's a buy sign for me. What do you think about this spot, Teddy?
I know. Okay, I don't want to lay with Wyoming. Okay, Wyoming is not a favorite that I trust. They're not a team built to win games by margin. The offense is as pedestrian as it gets, and that's putting it mildly. All dink and dunk, power rushing game. Not a lot of big gainers for the Cowboys. They have the potential to dominate UNLV in the trenches. They could blow the Rebels off the ball. And UNLV might hit some big plays in the passing game. They could hang around here. They have been a good dog, a good road dog in recent seasons, no question. They're not as good as Wyoming. I'm not going to get to the window with it. I'll just put it that way. It's again, yeah, I totally understand the case for Wyoming, or for UNLV plus. In a game where UNLV has quick strike potential, they can score. I mean they have playmakers at wideout, and that could be a problem against Wyoming. But it's just UNLV's. They're not a good team. They're not, and Wyoming's at least okay. And again, we talk about the concepts. The betting markets pay attention to the math. What do the box scores show? Wyoming's been outgained in every game, and the markets pay attention to that. I like teams that have bad stats and good results because that's where the stats are lying. Wyoming's been outgained every game because they win the turnover battle. They don't make mistakes. They don't shoot themselves in the foot. They have short fields to drive on. So the handicappers who are betting stats and yardage, they're all fading Wyoming this week. Not me. It's pass.
A pass from Teddy covers. The next one is Kansas State. We've seen Kansas State go from +4 to +5 and now back to +4. We have Babano interested in Kansas State and the over. This over opened up at 62 at Pinnacle, now 61 there. It's 59.5 at Bookmaker. How important it is to shop at these different books. 1.5 difference in Bookmaker. Usually Bookmaker and Pinnacle sort of run in tandem. Big difference there. What do you think about Kansas State and the over, Teddy?
Was the first bet I made this week was Kansas State plus. I absolutely, I think they're live to win the game. I'm not sold on Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma State's that good. It's not. You look at the cover against Tulsa. That was a fraudulent cover. They trailed at halftime. Tulsa, who can't move the ball up and down the field against Oklahoma State in that game. They were trying to run out the clock. They end up with the late TD to get the cover that they didn't deserve. It was a similar story. No, what the heck was the next game that they didn't deserve? Give me 1 second. Let me look it up. It was the Texas game. Come on, last week against Texas, where Texas was in control of that game. All right. And then Okie State, they scored a late touchdown and get in under the number because the money came in on Texas late. And that was a legit middle. Whichever side you had in that game, you're supposed to win or push at worst. But again, watching that game, it's 2 weeks in a row. I watched Oklahoma State and I'm like, meh. I remember watching them in the opener, was at Oregon State. And I'm like, meh. I don't think they're that good. And I'm not in love with Skylar Thompson, but I'm in love with the concept of taking points with Kansas State off a bye after Oklahoma State's off, this barn burner against Texas. I think the Wildcats are live to win the game. And this is one where, I took the points. Let's get the money line in my pocket as well on this one. This is one where I think that the Wildcats are quite live to win.
And what do you feel about this total?
I wouldn't talk you out of an overplay just because there's a fair bit of playmaking ability on these two teams. That being said, I don't think K-State, I know it's a new coach. I don't think K-State wants a shootout. They're not built to score 40. They're built to score 30. You know what I mean? So I'm not excited about it over here. Not anything I have I would expect Kansas State to try to shorten the game. I would expect them. But again, maybe some of my thinking is still Snyder thinking, it's not Climate thinking. But we saw that against Mississippi State too, where it wasn't like once they had the lead there, it was all like, let's take shots. No. It's a conservative game plan for K-State. So not a strong opinion on the total.
We have them also backing ECU at +3 against ODU. ECU +3 against ODU, thinking it's a bad spot for ODU. This total's also gone from 49.5 to 47.5. What do you think of him backing East Carolina?
So everyone keeps telling me what a bad spot it is for Old Dominion. Did Old Dominion really think they were going to win that game, even up 17-0? Are those kids like, oh yeah, we're going to beat this team? No, I don't think that they were stunningly disappointed off that loss. I don't think they were crushed because they couldn't beat Virginia. Now they got a team they can beat. They're off a loss, a bye, and a loss. I'm not, I don't believe the spot's as bad as people think it is for Old Dominion. I really don't. And East Carolina's a bad football team. Bad team, bad program. Been in steady decline for the last 4 or 5 years. No, for me, I don't want the dog there. It's favorite or pass.
All right, we have a couple of other questions coming in, and we've got to make moves. We've got to put a bow on this show. I mean, Topset saying we should hold Teddy hostage here on the show. Hey, I get it, man. I get it. I wish we had more time, but we do have him every single day, so it's just about us taking advantage of this time. Okay, Teddy, we've had questions coming in. The first question we're going to use a couple questions. We got to be quick here. Comic Ricky wondering, do you believe in Arizona in this late game at home against UCLA? Arizona opening up at -7.5, now -6.5, and this total at 71. What UCLA did was ludicrous last week. I want to back Arizona here, and this is the spot that Comic Ricky's asking about. What do you think here?
I wouldn't talk yet. If I had to play the game free bet, I would only take Arizona. I mean, again, UCLA is down 32 points in the second half at Wazoo, and some fluky things happen, and they caught fire. And that, again, things happen like that. And it happens in the NFL. Look at Arizona week 1 against Detroit, where they were dominated for three plus quarters in that game, and next thing you know, it's tied in overtime. All of a sudden, a team catches a little something, and boom. Next thing you know, it's a competitive game. And Washington State gave them, 6 turnovers. And it was one after next, and then all of a sudden it's big plays downfield. I don't necessarily think that UCLA is going to be able to recreate that magic. So it's Arizona or pass. But you want to lay a touchdown plus with Arizona? I mean, they have not been good favorites in any recent season. And it concerns me here to lay this price. So I could only take Arizona at 7.5. I don't get you the winner. The price isn't right.
I will say it's actually gone down to 6.5, but I think I should just stay away
6.5. Whoa, that's new. That's fresh.
Yeah, it's down to 6.5 across the board.
You are right. When did that happened in the last hour?
Let's take a look at when Pinnacle did it.
Looking right now.
Yeah, Pinnacle did it last night. Let's see when BetOnline did it. BetOnline did it yesterday. Let's see.
I missed out. I said the last hour. What I meant is last night. I thought I checked this morning and saw 7.5.
Yeah,
must have been last night.
So, but I got to stay away from the Pac-12. I just traditionally struggle there. And we got one more question coming in, and it's about Baylor. It's from our guy Lockin 24/7. It's this Baylor. I believe it's Iowa State, right?
Iowa State, yeah.
Baylor, Iowa State. And we're wondering what you think about Baylor plus the points.
That's a hard game. It really is. I trust Iowa State. Iowa State's battle tested. I don't know that I trust Baylor in that same sense, but I do expect that game to be an absolute war. I do not take the Bears lightly, and there's no way I would lay with Iowa State. Again, free bet if I have to play it. It's Cyclones, so I don't have to play it. I do expect a tight game, and it's a game where you want to make sure you get a 3 if you're on the Bears. It feels like a game that someone's going to win by a field goal.
Tight game in Baylor. Great stuff. This was so exciting. And tomorrow we'll see some of Teddy's NFL looks, and then we'll see what he's decided to pull the trigger on. And it's been really fun watching Teddy's process. And as we've watched it, we're getting more comfortable. We know that Thursday's a big day for him to pull some triggers on some of these moves that he's been studying all week. Teddy, what a treat it is to roll with you. Thank you so much for joining us every morning here. We love it immensely. Can you hit us with your Twitter handle so we can all follow you, and all of you low baggers out there, please follow Teddy's very exciting Twitter follow. What's your handle on Twitter?
Oh, you're beautiful, Jimmy. Don't ever change it. Listen, I appreciate all the comments, all the great feedback from all the low baggers out there. Thank you. Legitimately, thank you very much. All the follows, all of that. It's real easy. Teddy_covers on Twitter. We put out info all day and all weekend. So I appreciate the follows. Thank you.
And I'm loving watching your process. So we kind of see it built. The study goes through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it sort of pops off on Thursday when decisions are made, and then we get to join us tomorrow on our Friday morning show to see what triggers have been pulled and which games that he's moved on and has tickets in his pocket. Very exciting stuff. What a treat it is to roll with all you guys. Going from Babano to Teddy is just a real joy for me as a host of a show, and seriously, the chat is what makes this show special. And I know what he's talking about when you guys are commenting and following him on Twitter, how much fun you guys are to cap with each and every day. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Let's have a big week. And today's a very important day for us to figure out what moves we're going to make in college football. So I can't wait to hear what you guys are on as well. Teddy Covers, enjoy your Thursday afternoon. Can't wait to have you tomorrow morning.
Cheers. Look forward to it, Jimmy. Good luck tonight, guys. Enjoy the games and bet with your head, not over it.
This is well done. That's a t-shirt that we need to make right there. There he is, Teddy Covers, joining us, and we've got to put a bow on this show. We've gone a little bit long in MLB. I've only made 2 moves. I'm backing the Rangers on the money line, and I'm also on this under 9.5 in Philadelphia, Washington. And when I get to my desk and it's a 9, I'm unlikely to pull the trigger. So the only bet it looks like I will make right now is the Rangers. And if this minus 112 is in the minus 120 range, I might make a move on the Rangers -1 when I bet it. Thank you guys so much. Let's have a big day. Let's have a big day. We got afternoon baseball, so let's come back in the black on this late show. We have Flash joining us live on this late show. I'm very excited about that. Much love to all you guys. Let's get after it. Leche! Hey, los bookmakers!